Ghost of Yotei. It's a good game. I don't like it as much as Rise of the Ronin. Assassin's Creed Shadows. Even though I didn't finish Assassin's Creed Shadows, there's still some... I don't even know how far I am in that. 75%. The game's all over the place. Messy. Chaotic. Progression. I think Ghost of Tsushima was better than this in some ways. I definitely think Rise of the Ronin had better story, gameplay, graphics, art style. Actually, no, not gameplay, but just overall, kind of a little bit more homier and vibey and charming and cozy and I don't know, this game had good gameplay, just like Tsushima, but like I didn't know anything before playing, and you can tell within like what the first 5 minutes or so, like, or even maybe like okay, the trailers and the description. But yeah, it's just like, oh, another revenge story. There's some girl instead of Jin this time. Instead of Tsushima, it's Mount Yotei, or the region's called Yotei or whatever. I don't know, I mean, it didn't take long for me to kind of... And like, it's a sequel, so yeah, but like, okay, I'm gonna play a whole nother sequel. It's the same game again. I knew it was gonna have better quality of life. I knew that some mechanics might be different, but ultimately it was like exactly the same. Just funny, it's just like a big glorified DLC, really. The thing with sequels is like, if it improves upon the game, great, and this game did well on that, aside from not changing too much or not like taking things away, but just adding on to it. So it was a good entry overall, but I think, I don't know if this series has like a future, like it's just like, is there room to grow and evolve really? Like it kind of is what it is, like within its space. It's its own unique, distinct visual style, good smooth gameplay, Sony, Sucker Punch. I don't know, I don't really think it needed a sequel. It's definitely obviously riding on the coattails of Tsushima, and oh, that game did so great, even though it's been a while now, and even me, I wasn't the craziest fan of Tsushima. I didn't get that until it like went on sale way later. I was like, Sucker Punch. Pretty much a lot of similar things I said about Tsushima. I didn't really like Infamous, whatever other games they did. I'm kind of picky about my studios, because it's hard to compare with... Like, I don't even like Shadows because of Ubisoft. I don't like Ubisoft, but Shadows... I wasn't crazy about some of the gameplay in that or whatever, but I really kind of took it all in, and Yasuke and Naoe, and... I know Shadows is usually a lot more, they do historical pieces and era, time period. I just think this game has no place. It has its own thing, but like, I just don't... I don't know if it has its own space. It's made it into the classification category of modern, up-to-date samurai, AAA quality premium samurai games. But it's, God, it's like on the bottom of my list. And obviously I'm gonna put all these games, unfortunately, under things like Onimusha and Neo and something that just kind of makes these a little bit more fun, demons and blood and, well, there's plenty of that in here, but like Onis, like actual demons, not just words and names and masks and stuff. You know, yokai, all the different names for all that. But this is obviously taking a much more realistic approach and normal and basic and simple and average, less is more, which is fine. It's still Japan and the culture and all these things. But there's just not a lot really going on for it. At least for me, like, I need some flavor, I need some pizzazz, I need some hook, some grab, some... something that's gonna keep me engaged and immersed, and I think this game is trying to do everything but that. It doesn't really focus on the story enough. It is an open world game, so the story's gonna be diluted and saturated and spread out, and you're just gonna really ultimately be just doing a bunch of random side stuff and then back and forth. You can kind of play it how you want. Focus on the main stuff, do the side stuff later, don't do it at all, skip it. But I think that's part of the problem too, is having that freedom to kind of do whatever. You're not really able to kind of forcefully respect it in the way that it should be. And you can argue the same thing more or less with Shadows and Rise of the Ronin. They're all like kind of half open world games, but not quite with the emphasis on that. But I think what those games did a lot better, especially Ronin, was just keep the ball rolling and keep it flowing. And obviously with Tsushima or Yotei, you're gonna be so distracted and so like, oh, I'm gonna go from here to there and do this and that, and there's only so much big of a world, and it is densely packed, and like, okay, I can... there's a lot of stuff to do, but the issue is you take 5 steps over there and there's already something to do again. I think they tried to put in a little too much in a small space. And obviously, yeah, it's an expensive game, like, okay, and they give you your content's worth. I think the map's fine, the amount of stuff there is to do, the hours. It's just a little too... I don't think they... But it's not completely barren either, like you're empty like you think of some other open world games. Whether it's like Zelda or I mean, I don't know, like Monster Hunter or something, right? Like there's just... But I think you kind of need that too, and there's some of that in this, obviously. There's like a whole field, and oh, there might be a guy here and something to do there. And obviously they're not really packing things in vertically necessarily like you'd think of Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk is filled out just perfect. And then you play something like this and it's like... It's not really too it's just weird. Like, it's not spread out, but it's not dense either. It's like kind of this... Which I guess sounds good on paper, but... The cutscenes are good.
My name is Atsu.
So, I mean, I'm not like a biggest fan, but I don't hate it either. Obviously, like, the same things I didn't like about Tsushima carried over to this. I don't like the wind. I don't like stuff moving around all the time. The screen, the environment's just way too busy, and everything's a little too vibrant and poppy and set like you can, it's like the game had a whole filter on it, like, and vibrant, colorful sounds nice, but it's like, it's a really pretty game. It's nice to look at, eye candy, but I guess I just like the more kind of realistic approach. And that's kind of awkward because it's like, I like Ronin because the Japanese studio and Team Ninja and Koei Tecmo and Neo and even Shadows because of how good those graphics are. But this one is like, yeah, everyone's really short, which is accurate. I can appreciate the detail, but it's just kind of cartoony and not really sharp. It doesn't have that finesse and that that kind of precise impact. But it's kind of tough. I'm divided because it's like, well, I like these other games more, but this does have a lot better gameplay, a lot smoother, like combat, and obviously with the DualSense controllers and the haptic feedback and Sony, and it definitely, the other games, a little more janky. It's still good, but like, definitely didn't feel as good, and I think at the end of the day, it is a game, so I think gameplay does, for me, play a bigger part in the overall experience, because like there could be a story, it can be written, but the thing with me, how I look at it, it's all predetermined, it's scripted, it's a simulated walkthrough with only so many different possibilities, and it kind of is what it is, and it's like a haunted house. It's predictable. You know what you're doing, you know what you're getting into, you know what to expect for the most part within reason, but it's an already kind of pre-made package. You get what you get. And I think this game tried to, but since it's kind of open world, it's obviously kind of mixing it up. Like, you're not really playing the exact same way as like somebody else or something, but we're doing the exact same things. It's not linear A to B, but I mean, the only difference is going to be like, you know, is someone going to be stealthy, or do they just kind of go in both? Guns, swords blazing. But I don't know, it's kind of just the whole time playing this, it's like I was just anxious for it to get over. I think I ended up spending 75 hours in it. I don't know if that's active play time, but 70. Unfortunately, by the end, I wasn't able to really take it all in because I got kind of distracted by playing it in a public open space, right? But it was still really good. Like, it was very typical and stereotypical, and but the thing is, it's a safe option. They did what works. It's in an anime, it's in real movie, like live action movies. It's just been done 1,000 times, like the whole, and especially the last samurai game I played was Shadows, and that was literally the same thing. Like, oh, you got a list of guys to kill. I don't know, it's tough with this instance, Tsushima alone, not even comparing it to other games, because it's not always I think it's good to do, but that's not always fair. Now that this has a sequel, it kind of has at least one other game to compare it to. Versus when it was Tsushima, it's kind of the only one like it. But, it's like, oh, I like this girl versus Jin, but I like Jin more because I'm more used to it in time, more used to him. But I think this girl, it took a long time for, like, her character development, but I mean, it all makes sense with, like, things at the time and how people were treated, but even still, it's like, I don't know, she's kind of, it's hard for me to relate to her because it's like, well, she is very, I mean, I could profile her all day, but she's very thick-skinned, stubborn, chip on her shoulders. Yeah, she has her reasons, but, or okay, sure, she can still be nice and caring and charming, and she has a heart, nurturing. She's obviously a chick, so like there's that. She's pretty spunky and a little firecracker. She's got a nice body. Very monotone voice, but I mean, it works because especially as a player, as a character, are you gonna be this super expressive or, you know, like very, like Geralt or Kratos or something? Like, oh, these very iconic characters, like, I don't think that's quite what they're pushing for. They're obviously focusing a lot more on the environment, the setting, and the people around you, and the NPCs, and the side characters, and but she still had her own place. I mean, I spent a lot of time with her. I think it took me like a month to play this. I spaced it out a little too much because of other things, but there's some days where I only played for like an hour or two. If I played it normally, like I would usually do, like 8 hours a day-ish or whatever, 5 days a week, I don't know. Probably could have got it done a lot sooner, but in a way, I'm glad I spent as much time with it as I did, and I didn't rush it, because I got to really get to know her throughout time, and like the thing with games, like you're waking up, you're still going to sleep, you're still living your life, but when you play these games, you're there, and you're sat down, and you're ready to kind of do whatever, and I did end up getting pretty attached to her. But it was tough though, because especially towards the end, like 75% in, it's like, alright, just kind of just dragging on. I just want to get it over with, move on, next game. Because like as good as it is, it's still kind of like even I'm really patient and tolerant, but it does kind of drag on. Which is to be expected though, but you know what you're getting into too, like you know what kind of game it is, and especially after Tsushima, it's like, hello, but I mean, I stuck it through. I did it. I don't play like other games on the side or anything, or offline, or I do it all right there. And it is addicting, like it is satisfying, like doing all the little things and getting things done and accomplishing stuff and just kind of routine, going along with the ropes, and it's like clockwork. It just goes, and I don't know. But the issue with it is, like, I think throughout it just doesn't really hit the same. It doesn't really have much to offer as far as just content in general, really. I just think it's kind of flat, plain, and not in a good way. Gameplay was good.
Didn't want to fight me when I am sober. Did you dream of this?
Yeah, the things I didn't like was like all the wind, flying, like trying to navigate, figuring out where to go is kind of annoying. Like they made some small quality of life changes like in the options, but really is not much has changed. But the only new option I could appreciate barely was the whole wind thing. It had a little bit more contrast to it, so you can see it a little bit better. Like, oh, the wind's blowing here, it's blowing there, and it's hard when you're trying to go somewhere really specific too, because it'll kind of tell you where to go. But if it's like a vertical thing, it'll tell you to kind of do this weird thing, and it keeps transitioning from full screen to widescreen when you're on the horse. It's just the camera work. It made me so dizzy half the time. I'm like panned in too much. I'm not panned out enough. She's not scooted to the left enough. She's kind of awkwardly in the middle of the screen, or like nudged to the side, the left side. The whole time I'm playing it, especially when you're in a rush, you're just trying to get it over with. It's like it's just kind of daunting. And because you're trying to knock all this stuff out, you got a whole list of bits. You got places to go, shit to do, people to see, you know, like, it was crazy. Like, the fast traveling's good, but like, because it's a next-gen game, especially on the Pro, it had like, just super snappy, and even had like better graphical things. So fast loading times, it bettered with how much they're expecting you to run around and do, but I don't know, I was just glad to get it done, and that's not really... You don't want to leave a game like that. I think you want it to continue, you want it to go on, you don't want it to... Like, if I was playing the game all by myself in the dark, in my boxers, taking my time with it, spacing it out, on downtime, you know, before or after work or school, or late at night, you know, kind of whatever people got going on, it's definitely, I think it would have been a little bit more fun, because you just kind of get to really sit there and just enjoy it, you know, nothing's really just like getting in the way of that. But overall, it's like the game is still what it is, so that's only going to change so much. But I don't know, I like the color palette of it, like her drip I think was good. Tsushima's drip was like meh. I don't know, it's hard because, you know, with a game like this, it's kind of like there's not much to it, but there's still like quite a bit to, like, you don't want to kind of give away too much, but like, I guess there's nothing to really give away. It's it's the same game again all over, but yeah, nothing really that kind of wowed me, or at least like overall, universally, in general. There's obviously like some small, very specific things that kind of got my attention a bit, but I mean, it is impressive how they can kind of how much they can really pack in there. Like, it was like, oh, how many different times can you kind of, oh, this person needs help, oh, you show up and do this and that, and I mean, it is interesting to see how like how they made all these different kind of ways to interact with the game. but yet you were pretty much doing the exact same thing. I don't know, the time period's interesting. Um, it's obviously like after Tsushima, it's not like a prequel. I'm just saying like 200 years later or something. So when you think of like the Portuguese and trade and import and foreigners, Westerners, Gaijins, and technology and advancement and man, I don't know, it's tough. I know it's got like nominated quite a bit at Game of the Year awards, but it didn't really get anything, and it kept showing the girl who voiced Atsu, but she kind of just sat there, and I was like, how did, it's never gonna be able to compete with Tsushima in that perspective, but I just find it a shame that stupid Claire Obscure Expedition 33 kind of hogged all the attention, because I think before even playing this, I knew it was a good game. Like, I knew it kind of deserved a lot more than it got, but I guess, what are you gonna do, right? But, and supposedly it went on sale like 2 weeks after. I don't know. It's just what I saw, and because it took a while for it to go on sale. And like, I wasn't super anxious about getting it immediately, because I was like, it's a Yotei, I can kind of take it or leave it. So I definitely wasn't exactly super anxious to get it. But I was still keen on playing it. It's like, hey, I like Japan, I like the culture, I like Japanese stuff, I like samurais and ninjas and weapons and this and that. So I was gonna play it regardless. It's just I hate that knowing, especially ahead of time. I didn't know what to, like, even Tsushima, like, I knew I wasn't gonna like it, but I played it anyway. I had a decent time. But I'm definitely not a fanboy, like, yeah. I'm never even bothered with, like, the Legends mode or anything. It's just kind of like a game that I can appreciate that exists, and yeah. Kind of move on, but to me it's just a game, and check it out and kind of just find whatever else is out there and keep searching, keep looking for good stuff. But yeah, I don't think it really got good until like towards the end, which is kind of a shame. It kind of, I think it was in, and that's what's tough is like, dude, by a third of the way, like 25% of the way, you gotta really kind of amp that up, because if it's not keeping your attention, it could be, I could see a lot of people, especially with their attention spans and nowadays, like, getting kind of bored of it, which is I hate to use that word, but like, even I was just kind of like tuning out. It's kind of like when you quit a job you get put in your 2 weeks, like, you're just mentally kind of clocked out. That's what a lot of this game was kind of like for me. And that's what was tough with my schedule too, is it just kept making me tired and just kind of like, ugh, just uninterested. And for me, that's saying a lot, because I like chill stuff. It was very cozy and like comfortable and relaxing and all these things, very therapeutic. The music, the the whole aesthetic and of the game. But yeah, the game itself was just kind of like very mid. But I think between Tsushima and Yotei, they're out there and people are gonna play them if they haven't already, and like, I don't know, it's a series I definitely don't mind. I like the name Ghost. I don't think they emphasize the ghost thing as much as the first game, but which is part of what made it interesting too. Is I like the whole ghost persona because of like I think of the Patriot movie, Mel Gibson just being this pre-colonial ninja or whatever. It's like a invisible, stealthy ninja killing machine. Yeah, she definitely had like cool like masks and armor later on, and cosmetics and weapons stuff, and I don't know. It's just it wasn't the thing with this one is things really died down, and you got your generic bad guy, and I think it's Tsushima. It was there was more going on, like the war, and that's when they were still, I think, prospering. But I think this game, like, a lot of the buildings are run down, and it's kind of hard to appreciate the scenery the same, like the buildings and the architecture and how prospering people are. And it was just kind of depressing and sad and shitty, and which Tsushima definitely had that too, but I think it was a little bit more like you're in the moment, you're kind of in the shit, and you're a samurai turning into a ninja, and kind of changing the dynamic of what it's like to be in the military at the time, and being a soldier and a warrior. And with Tsushima, you had your uncle. It was a little bit more involving with family kind of stuff. I guess it was here too in a way, but it was a little too like I think with the uncle thing is because he's an uncle. He's not your brother. He's not your dad. He's not your mom. He's not your sister. He's not like he's a very specific family member. Like usually cousins and nieces and nephews and uncles and aunts and grandmas and grandpas, they usually tend to be kind of the more interesting family members because you're not around them as much, or like I don't know. But I think with Jin, and I like the girl in Tsushima, that Kyo Kaide, whatever her name was, right? Like I think that Tsushima had a much better start. Like I remember the intro with her, and you're sneaking around the village, and you had the Mongolians, which were really annoying, and the dogs, and they kept shouting stuff and Dashan or whatever. But you had one bad guy, and I guess in here you kind of did too, but it was like, oh, my lieutenants and generals, and I don't even think that's probably all in the trailer, and there's nothing to really spoil there, but I don't know. I think one was definitely more cinematic. It was more a believable movie. It was more. It's definitely more. When you think of like the Kurosawa style and Samurai 7 and this and that. I think the only interesting thing this game really brought at all was just being a girl. Something different, not a guy, and not really just because of that, for the sake of that, but more she's gonna offer a very different alternative side to how she perceives everything around her, the people, her attitude, her softness, her thickness, her hardness. But she's not just like kind of some chill dude running around, because you're really involved with these people, and you're really helping them, and doing the right thing, and compassionate. And so I definitely think she had that going on for her. Like, was able to kind of really lean into the whole Like, hey, I'm here, I'm trying to be like this hero, I'm trying to do my own thing too, but I don't want to ignore people around me and be ignorant and typical protagonist kind of stuff. But I think Jin had definitely a much more... Like, even he was pretty similar. They're both cut from the same cloth, I would say. But even, I would even say they're, like, connected in a way and have this kind of lineage, or it could be DNA or genetics, or just kind of someone that went down in history and just happened to kind of walk a very similar path, and I just find that interesting. Kind of like she was like the next version of him. She's like, when you think of the afterlife or the next life. So it's definitely something to kind of think about, but she wasn't just a completely different character either, but she had a lot of very similar things to offer. Yeah, that's more like the specific, finite, micro-focusing, like, detail, technical stuff. I don't know. But yeah, it was good. Ghost of Yotei.